All right. Hello again. We're back at it. We're back at it, hopefully, with a microphone, as I jam my finger into it. A microphone that will not be cutting out incessantly like we had to deal with on Saturday. I did a little bit of sleuthing, and by that I mostly mean trying literally everything I could think of as to why my mic kept cutting out. So far as to go on the OBS Discord and ask questions for people about, hey, is anybody else having issues like this? And of course nobody was. And of course everything they suggested was not issues I was having. So at the end of the day, I said, screw all this. I'm going to revert OBS. I hadn't updated OBS in years. And before I came back on Saturday, I said, you know what, let's do it. Well, lesson learned, don't ever do that. I had upgraded to OBS 30, I think. And something about 30 was not liking my microphone. I knew it was not any of my hardware, any of my setup, anything, because it worked all the time forever with this setup. OBS 30 was the only thing I changed, and it was not working. So I reverted to OBS 27, which is roughly what I was using before, and it has worked flawlessly ever since then. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What the heck? My phone's blowing up as soon as my stream starts. Oh, never mind. It's just bots. Bots telling me that they want to send me their portfolio to take a look at so I can get custom Twitch emotes, because they don't know that I'm not an affiliate anymore. Anyway, what's up? How we doing? How is everyone? I'm excited to get back to this, because once I start a kit, I want to work on it daily. But I've been holding off because this is my stream kit, so we'll get there. This is how much we have left to go. Holy cow. This is a lot. I like to throw this up here as a reminder. I've never had a kit this large. I've never fathomed having a kit this large. I didn't think I would ever have a kit this large. I kind of lucked out when I made this purchase, because I think at 9 p.m. it went up for pre-order, and by 9:10 they were sold out. And that included me refreshing the page 50 times and finally getting one and finally checking out. So it was a process, but we got through it, and I'm happy. And I'm going to dig back into it. So, yeah, I just wanted to put these up here as a reminder for those who didn't catch last time. This whole box and this whole box are all full of plastic. We will be assembling every bit of this plastic on stream. But for now, we're working on the little guy inside the giant suit of armor, the Sinanju Stein high grade. So we don't need any of this. So let's move this. Well, let's not drop it. How good would that be? So we have the kit all splayed out on the table. Can I bring this a little closer? Yeah. I'm used to having all this stuff right over here, so it's throwing me off, and then I see it in my reflection, or not my reflection, in my stream, and it's a trip. Anyway, that's good enough. Let's make sure. Did I make sure this was all set up and in focus?
Oh, it is. Good. So let's get into it. So this is how much we did last time. We did the usual steps. You start with the torso, you do the head, then you work your way down the arms. We got the shoulder units done, and kind of where the arms pin in, but we do not have... Mute that one. All right. We do not have anything past the upper arm. So today, my hope is that we knock out the arms, knock out the feet, knock out the legs, and maybe, if we're lucky, we get the waist. But I don't know. I think by the end of this stream, we'll have arms, feet, and legs all done. But like I said, that's with a little bit of luck. Yeah, so we started here. Can I turn this brightness up a little bit? It's not helping. Anyway, so we started here. We took care of everything on just this one page. Today we're going to try and tackle this. We're not going to do this because these are the hands. I always do the hands later. I'll get into that when we get there. We're not going to do, well, I kind of already did this, but, and then we'll start with the feet. They do one leg and, alright. So that'll slow us down a little bit, I guess. Normally, more of the legs are symmetrical. This seems to be it's just the feet, and each leg is its kind of own thing. Which I get because there's like external decorations that the internals don't have. Hopefully we're going to get through this. And if we're lucky, we'll get through this. So I got to shut up, quit that one, and start building. Where are we starting? We're starting with E, B, G, there. Okay. Got my tools. Same as before. You guys have any questions about what I'm doing? Tools, techniques, tips, anything, let me know. I will do the best I can to explain. As I've also said before, nothing I'm doing is the only way to do it. It's just kind of my way of doing it. So, suggestions are welcome. If you have any. 15, where's 15? Oh, it didn't look like it. Okay. And this is a 2, correct? Yes, this is a 2. So we're going to be building 2 of all of these. 15, 31, and 32. Move this out of the way. There we go. It's just a little marker that I put on my desktop to kind of let me know, oh yeah, they can see out to right about here, but it's right in the way for where my guide is. So I do have one up there that I'm also using as a guide. So luck willing, I should keep everything on screen for you guys to see. Because this is a little awkward. I've said before, I'm not used to working on stuff like this at arm's length, only because a lot of small details I will work up in front of my face, and then that doesn't help because there's no camera there to capture that. And you guys just see my desktop as I'm. Alright. Polycap 13, I hate polycaps. Polycap 13. These are in the weirdest order. 1 is here, 13 is here. It goes like 1 to 12, and then 13 is on the other side. Polycap 9. Alright, this order is very weird. It goes 1 through 9, 12, back to 8, and then it starts at 13, whatever. I believe the center, like this part, is just all in order. It's like 1 through 9, and then it goes 12, and then not 8 because you need extra. And then over here it's like 13. So it's probably just extra molded on parts. But hey, how are you? Let me check something then.
All right, is this mic any better? Also, I'm a little confused because I moved my chat, and now... Okay, so it's the same exact mic. It duplicated the audio input, and I wasn't sure which one was which. So I had muted one and just took a guess, And it turns out that was not the one I should have muted. So, also, I believe I fixed the audio issue, so we should not have that to deal with. Nice. You know, this is throwing me for a loop here. I gotta move. I moved chat over here, but now I don't look over there for it. It's like muscle memory. Hang on, come out of there. Pull that over here. You go there. Organizing all my freaking panels on OBS. No, not there. Go there. All right. Okay. Also, yes, 3 Fat Cooks and Mayhem Magpie. I realized after stream yesterday that both you guys gave me a follow, but my stupid interface was screwed up to the point where it didn't even give me an alert. So I did want to say thank you for that. Appreciate the follow. I felt bad afterwards because I was like, what 4 follows? Where did this come from? I didn't see a single one. I saw the alert when somebody raided, but I didn't see a single one for the follow. Okay. Yeah, it's just like, I get it though. You know, you want to appropriately say thank you, but I was a little bummed out when I realized that the Twitch alerts weren't triggering. But we're good now. Yeah, I would definitely suggest that master grade. I love that master grade. The F91, that is. Let me move that. Move it. It's kind of all... And I assume you guys can hear me okay if I put it up here. So it's just kind of like too much in the way for me to be seeing everything. Especially with trying to look down here. One of the tail. What? Oh, did it break, or is it just something that you might have mixed up? So there is a master grade Phoenix. It's in my closet. The reason it's in my closet is because I don't want to build it. So, word of warning about the master grade Phoenix. Has to do with the release order of the kits. What do we need? That's how good. A Polycap 6. So, obviously the first kit was the Unicorn Gundam that came out. They made a Gundam kit for it, for the Unicorn. When Narrative came out, they decided to be cheap. And they were just, like I said before, it's not electroplating. I don't know what the actual process is, but they put the like a mirrored silver finish on the parts, and then they spray it yellow, so it looks gold. It's actually clear yellow sprayed onto like a mirrored silver. But they did that using the exact same mold as the Unicorn Gundam, which means it was never designed to be gold plated, which means it's all side gated rather than undergated. A lot of the gold kits that are designed from the ground up that are going to be metallic are undergated. The master grade Phoenix is side gated, so the entire kit is going to have nubs that you cut off every single part, and they're all going to be visible. And I looked at that, and when I realized like how much cleanup there actually is on that kit, I was just like, I don't have the gold paint touch up to like clean every single part up that it's going to necessitate to like make this look good. It was a super bummer to find that out. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how bad it is. Like, if you're a model maker, you're a perfectionist probably, because you want your stuff to look good. It's one of those things that like, if you make it, you'd notice it, but like anybody else who'd look at it would be like, this thing's awesome. They wouldn't be looking at like the small blemish on the forearm, but like I just like laser focus and I'm like, look how horrible that one little bit is. So I don't know. It's all, I guess, eye of the beholder type stuff. For me, I didn't want to dig into it too much until I felt like I had either the skills or the tools to clean up the nub marks. Now, now get this. The Akatsuki Gundam, which is from Seed. Can't remember if it's from Seed or Seed Destiny. Maybe the end of Seed Destiny? I don't remember. I watched them both in order, and I can't really remember what is what, other than I don't like Seed Destiny. But that is a non-grade 1/100, so it's not even master grade. It's lower than like high. It's essentially like a 1/100 scale high grade, so it's very low quality. But that is fully undergated, and I'm like, why would they undergate a non-grade, but then take a master grade? It might even be the same as the Verka, and then side gate it. I don't know. Building for yourself is probably the best way to go about it. I don't enter a lot of pictures on Reddit or whatever. I build up my kits, and the ones that I like I put up there. The ones I don't, I kind of either get rid of over time or use to like practice on if I'm doing like a painting technique or something like that. So I mean, even the kits that I end up not liking, I try and get some sort of like use from, I guess. I'm not trying to put it up on Reddit and have people be like, "Eh, you screwed up this part." I'm like, shut up. Oh yeah, photo shoot of your stuff. I like when I have to build the same thing, like 2 sets of arms, because I can like kind of get into a rhythm here. Like, definitely see some progress. We got G what? G1. That's G2. Oh, these are the friggin' sleeves parts. Alright, whatever. So we're doing 3. Ooh, I'll check that in just a sec. Three. 4. I already know I'm going to be annoyed because these 6 parts all have a sticker. Color correcting sticker. But whatever. I got to keep telling myself that on this kit, people aren't going to be looking at the little Sinanju inside of it. They're going to be looking at the 3 feet of plastic all around it. Alright, let's check these out. Oh, nice. Is that high grade? C-Pack. Oh, there he is. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's the injection mold one then. Okay, I remember that one. Cool. I was looking at, they had the high grade Phoenix. There's 2 different kinds. One of them was like $60, and I didn't understand why. And I think that was the one where they did like the gold plating rather than like the injection mold. Oh, is that what that is? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's your monitor. Space background. Yeah, the I believe it's a Verka, isn't it? That's wild. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of neat little tricks that you can do. to kind of get some depth of field type stuff. No, what is that? That's B7. B7. Oh, there it is. Okay. Gosh, it's so strangely freeing to be on stream but not wear like a headset, because usually if I'm playing a game, I have my game audio piping through a headset, and I'm always like turning and thinking like, oh, did I pull my cord too far? Oh, I don't have it on. That's right. It's freedom. All right. So this is everything for both arms, which is not very much, honestly. So let's get cleaning this up. Nope, wrong ones. Whoa. I've been, I don't know. Some of the injection, like the metallic injection kits, are kind of hit or miss for me. I think I got a bad batch one time. Like the colors in the didn't really like blend very much, and it I don't know. It just looked like a big blob in the plastic rather than kind of smoothly distributed throughout it. And they don't hold panel lining very well either. The I made that kit, or I made the mistake. Oh, you know what? It wasn't the injection, it was the pearlescent kit. That's what it was. So I didn't know it was pearlescent, but I bought the master grade like combo box that was the Turn A and the Turn X in the same kit, because they came with like the nano machine or like nanobit water slides, and I thought that looked really cool. I didn't know that it was like the pearlescent injection, and I think the pearlescent just didn't blend very well, because like a lot of the parts would be white, but then like right in the middle it would just be like this big swirly blob where it almost like if you don't mix up paint, how the pigment kind of clumps together sometimes. It looked like that, and it looked really bad. And I tried panel lining a little bit, because I don't know if you've ever built the Master Grade Turn A, but there's some awesome panel lines in it. Just because of the design, there's a lot of straight lines, and you can really get some good ink in there and make it pop. But the pearlescent plastic doesn't take the ink, so like it's almost like you rub it with a marker, but nothing comes off. Like it's almost like putting marker on glass, like it doesn't bite into it, and it was just like a super disappointing overall experience. But I ended up buying the Turn A again, the regular Master Grade, and I got a good chuckle out of the fact that that kit comes with a cow, a 1/100 scale cow. And they even show you in the instructions that you can like remove the chest missiles and put the cow inside of it. I don't know if you've seen Turn A, but they definitely move a cow with the Gundam, and I guess they thought that scene was humorous enough that they were like, well, we got to put the cow in. Let me check the focus here, because it seems to be... Yeah, I get that. I was originally... Like, Gundam never really came to the States until like 2000, when Cartoon Network had that Toonami block. And I didn't know anything about Gundam other than like Gundam Wing. and I didn't even know Gundam Wing from the show because we didn't have cable. It was just I'd go to the store and I'd see all these crazy robot kits, and they were the Gundam Wing non grades from like '99 or 2000, and they were only like 20, $25. So I bought a bunch of them and I built them all up, and I was like, these are cool. And I got into the hobby that way, but I didn't really know anything about the anime. And eventually I was like, well, do you guys remember Suncoast back before, way back in the day, before all this streaming nonsense? But yeah, every week I'd go to like Suncoast and get like the next 2 VHS tapes or something. But it got to the point where like they didn't either have any more or didn't want to carry any. I don't know what the deal was. So like I only ended up watching maybe half of Gundam Wing. But I was definitely more into what the hell is going on with my phone? Definitely more into the model side of it than the anime side. And then I got into the anime afterwards, and I was like, oh, all right. These are all those kits that I didn't know what they were. And it definitely made me appreciate some and like some others less. Why is my phone blowing up? I will always appreciate a model kit that stores the beam saber up on the forearm. I always think that's like a cool option to be able to like fire up the beam saber, but it's still in the forearm, so he doesn't actually have to hold the weapon. It's kind of like the wrist blades from the Protoss there. I forget which other kit had that. I think the Full Armor Stormbringer. I just finished that one recently. It had something like that. But I've kind of finished watching Gundam as an anime. Whoa, as an anime. I've watched most of it, and I dare say, like, I've watched almost as much as I want to watch. Like, I don't know. I like the classic stuff. The newer stuff doesn't do much for me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just different, but like it doesn't feel the same. Like I don't know. I didn't I did not like the way Iron Blooded Orphans ran its course. Age was, I don't know, I didn't dislike it, but is that like a compliment? Like I didn't dislike it. I don't know. It just was kind of like hard to. I think for me, a lot of the charm of the anime was knowing that it was all like hand drawn frames. Like it was artwork. And then when it became like clearly 3D. Yeah, see that was part of it too. Like I'm older. I'm not old, but I'm older. So like I don't relate to 15-year-old protagonists and stuff. It's like I prefer the more. Yeah, exactly. So, oh, Unicorn. Okay, that was 2010, I think. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel. I don't know if you. I know you said you're kind of picking your way through the Gundam series. So I was well into my 30s by the time I said I'm gonna sit down and watch this whole friggin' franchise start to finish. And just like you said, I was done with like my teenaged angst years. And like, oh, well, I'm 41 now, so I mean, I might maybe just got an earlier start than you did, but yeah. So, um, like I was done with my teenage angst by the time I started watching Gundam, and I don't even want to say like I'm a tired, beaten down middle aged man or something like that, but it was just like the tone of some of these things where it's like young kids full of hope and optimism, and I'm just like I don't relate to this crap. And then you watch these other like darker, grittier franchises. Part of it's still Gundam, but it's like even in the Gundam series, stuff sucks and people die and bad things happen, and like you can't just be like, well, suck it up and we'll use teamwork and I'm not going to give up and it's just like no, sometimes shitty things happen and people go through a lot, and it's like I can yeah, exactly like yeah, Full Metal Panic, yep. So like everybody loves Zeta Gundam, and I think the reason they like it is because Zeta Gundam is like a really gritty, serious type atmosphere, but the main character is like a young kid that they relate to in like an adult world. And everybody loves him and they love his character, and I couldn't stand him because he was a whiny little twit the entire time. And it was like oh, I would agree. 8th MS team is grittier, but I just mean like comparatively to the mainline stories rather than the OVAs. Everybody loved Camille, and I'm like, why? He's annoying. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't relate to the character, and then it drove me nuts because it gets so much like adulation, and I'm like, well, what about this series? And like, also, what's up, Carbon? I'm realizing you're on YouTube, so half of you guys can't see each other because the chats are integrated, but I'm on Twitch as well, so there's two conversations going. But 8th MS team was gritty. I really like. I think my favorite overall is Victory Gundam. And it's funny because Victory's one of those like. All right, hang on. I gotta read this. What does this say? Attach each part while you hold the polycap in place. All right, probably because it's gonna blow all the way through. Oh, you have Victory Gundam. Victory Gundam is. It's so good. And it's very similar. Both of them. I found like if people took bullet points for like what they like about um Zeta Gundam, it would be the same thing as Victory Gundam. But Victory Gundam is like late Universal Century, which doesn't get a lot of love, and it's a lot of like word of mouth like, "Oh, don't watch that. That's old." Not old, but they're like, "Oh, skip that." Like I hear that all the time. They're like, "Ah, skip that." Don't. I hear it so much about Double Zeta. I'm like, I liked Double Zeta so much more than Zeta. And everyone's like, I'll skip that. Don't watch that. Whatever. I'm kind of glad. So, like, I got into Gundam on my own. And then eventually I started streaming and stuff. And I made, like, a Twitter presence just to, like, kind of advertise what I was doing on here. And I try and, like, keep up in some of the conversations and stuff and people have. And it's like, had I not like watched Gundam on my own and gotten appreciation for what I like versus, oh, there we go. Thank you, Carbon. And my my notification worked that time. Because it was not working before, so that's good too. I tweaked with that a little bit. I was hoping it would work. Holy. Good timing, because I was just talking about my notifications not working last time, and here you are. So I wanted to give you a shout out as well, and a thank you for the follow, because you gave me a follow on Saturday, and I didn't even thank you because it didn't pop up. But now that my notifications are working, hopefully we can avoid that. All right, let's see. Oh, what a mess. What a mess that one is. But yeah, I feel like it was a much cooler experience having watched Gundam on my own and like forming my own opinion. And then I go on like social media. I don't have Facebook, but I would use like Twitter before that went to complete shit. And like, it's all a hive mind. It's like people saying like, watch this, don't watch that. This is bad. This is the best. And I'm like, God, I'm glad I didn't watch Gundam in that vacuum or like with a closed mind that like, this is gonna suck. Because like Double Zeta was great. I don't know. Maybe it's just what I like. I liked how it was kind of campy and silly. I mean, I agree. One of the complaints I hear about Double Zeta is right after like the pretty gritty and heavy ending of Zeta, Double Zeta starts, and it's a very different tone. It's not goofy or it's not serious. It's goofy, and it like if you went from one right to the other, you'd be like, "What the heck is this?" I get it, but then the idea to just be like, "Oh, just don't watch it entirely because of that," I'm like, "Well, no, that's not the answer." Harobushi. I can't think off the top of my head of what that is. I also I have not, no. Not yet. I do like the Penelope and I don't know, there's a lot of arguing. I don't want to say arguing. A lot of different ways to pronounce it. Most English speaking ways I've seen it, people say like the Z Gundam just because it's XI. But I think I've read that it's like Kasai is the actual pronunciation of that XI. I don't know. It's like Kasai Gundam or something. Thank you, GT. The Zagok. God, there's so many of those old kits. Zagok. Is that just that one with like the 3 fingers? They're not even fingers, but like the claws that look like fingers. All right, cool. Yep. Yeah, because I'm remembering that one from the original Gundam when they were like tunneling under Jaburo, and then Char was in his red one. And then because they all just had like weird names. It was like Zagok, and there's another like Z something or other, and it was the probably mid '70s when they were coming up with names. They went wild. So yeah, and they don't stuff like the Zagok. It was in yeah. There's a Zok and a Zagok and a Zuda and a like I don't know. And like they were in the anime for like 2 episodes. It'll just be like we invented this thing that like tunnels underground and we'll dig under the base, and then our attack didn't succeed, so we just don't use it ever again. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember it really briefly, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't around long enough to like imprint on my head. But I do remember seeing a lot of like the Zagok base kits. Oh, and there's also Zan. So too many dumb Z terms. And this is the Zeong and the Neo Zeong, and I guess Xeon just went with every weird Z word. Alright, a little bit of panel lining in here just to make these colors pop, even though I sound like a broken record, but I probably won't see any of this when this kit is done. Let's clean this up a little bit. Alright, let's get in here. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. So these are just my very odd arm parts because they feel loose. It's like a hinge joint. This is a pivot here for the upper arm, and then there's like a little flex for the lower arm, which feels broken. Yeah, maybe I'll pop by. I'm gonna probably be on I'm gonna be streaming myself till 8, so we'll see what's going on afterwards. Good to see you. It's such a difference of like looking at this in person. Like, yeah, that looks good. And then I look on my screen at like 30 times magnification and I'm like, oh, it looks messy. Alright, so that's cleaned up well enough. Now how does this go on? That we may need to... Yeah, there's a gross nub mark on there. A gross one. Much better. Much better. Oh, great. But now there's 3 more to knock out. All right, I'm going to do these off camera right in front of my face because it's a little easier to get more pressure when I can firmly push rather than pushing like this. Just so we can zip through the cleanup. I adore how much of this kit is like light colors because it makes stress marks much less visible and it makes the cleanup much easier. Because trying to clean up a stress mark off like dark blue plastic or red when it stresses all white, ugh. Not a fan. See, that one is not cleaning up as nice. That one right there won't go away. Guess I gotta keep hitting it with the file. See if I can shave it down. Maybe that'll help. Good enough. So now we got some panel lining on here, but I don't know how much is visible. Also, speaking of visible, I gotta move that so it's more visible. All right. What the hell? I didn't even trim these nubs. What am I doing? I'm slipping. Yo, where'd that go? All right. So I don't know. This is light gray. I don't think the gray ink would look very good on it. Let me do just. I don't think I'm even going to panel line those because they're so insignificantly small. We're just going to slap them on here. Ooh, is that also? Ugh, what an ugly part. They put the nub marks in the three most visible parts. Like, at least try and hide some of them. Ugh, whatever. That closes up pretty nice. And oops, upside down. Not very visible. Good. I was thinking about hitting those little pockets with some liner. Let me try one. No, I don't even want to because it's too shallow. Like, it's going to pop right out. Sometimes you got to have a certain amount of thickness if you want to get some ink in there, because the problem is when I try and go over it, you just kind of like rub it all out, and I'm like, so what's the point? I put it on, I washed it out. Put it on, wash it out. I could do that forever, but let's not. So put the beam sabers into forearms, and now we close them up. Man, there is some actual panel lining on these alarm closures, and those go up. So let's try gray. Let's get rid of that nub first. Let's see what gray looks like. So far it looks messy. But I'm a fan of the messy method that's easy to clean up. This was one of the cheapest little tricks that you can start doing to just add small bits of detailing. I remember when I first got these Panaline markers, I just thought, like, the pictures, I'm like, oh yeah, you just get some ink in there. And like I got it all sloppy and it looked so bad, and I was just like, what the hell? I made this like 10 times worse. And then I didn't realize you can just take a Q-tip and like buff it and clean it up so easily. But yeah, you can compare just those two. This is a regular plastic. Just adds a little bit of shading to like this little cutout to make it look a little bit more like a cartoon where it's like cell shaded. Speaking of cells and shading, that has become my kind of like my expensive new collector's hobby. I've been collecting Gundam animation cells for some reason, just because it's cool, like to own original production pieces, like knowing that, like, hey, this is hand drawn by the artists who made Gundam, hand painted by the Sunrise people, that, you know, the production studios that made the series. It was used to develop the actual anime. Anybody who's watched the anime has like seen it, and then it's cool to like go back and find that exact frame and like pause it and be like, I own that frame. Kind of neat. So up here on the wall above my model kits, the Mystic Bum. Hello. On the wall above my kits, I kind of want to put my animation cells. But they're like original production animation cells, and the sun comes up over here and it hits that wall, and like I don't want to like expose them to the sunlight, so I ordered some like museum quality UV glass to kind of protect them, but I'm still like hesitant. I'm like, I don't know, I could put them up there, but what if it doesn't work? I don't know. It's just cool to actually like have a little piece of history like that, or several little pieces of history like that. All right, how do we get these on? It looks like... Oh, yeah? It looks like... Okay, so this goes down. God, I hate these sleeves segments. I hate them so much. I really hope I can do an okay job getting these color correcting stickers on there. Can't even see the details on this, so that goes there and there. Okay, like that? Yeah, alright, alright. I'm picking up what this kit's putting down. Alright, now the bullshit is I'm going to have to wrap all that black in sticker. Oh, man. Not happy about that. Alright, so those are the forearms. And the upper arms really are just, you know, the part we've already done. And just this midsection. So that... These are the real big segments. But getting those stickers on there is going to drive me nuts. So, let me back out. Back out. I said back out. Damn it. There we go. Fighting with my technology here. I may have to like clamp them in the vise and try and get these stickers on as precise as I can. Q-tips. Where are my Q-tips? I mean, these are Q-tips, but I'm looking for the Tamiya hard foam Q-tips. Where are they? These are the ones I'm looking for. Thought I had some loose in there, but I guess I ran out. So these look like Q-tips, but as I was saying last time, they're very, very, very firm, and I use them as like a spudger. If I put a decal down, you can like really press with these to flatten the decal out, and it's not like hard, so it's not going to tear the paper or anything, but you can get a good firm contact with it. Oh, I am just going to have to hope and pray, because this wraps around 3 different sides, and then where this piece ends, you got to mate it up with this one, and then it continues there. So I basically have to like take both of these and wrap it around all 4 sides here. So this will be fun. And I'm gonna need a third hand, which is why I got this recently. It's like a weighted bench vise almost, but you can do all sorts of custom stuff with it. You can adjust these pins, so they're like steel pins, but they have like a rubber hose, so they don't hurt the part very much. So you can kind of snug it up there. But I can move them as I need to hold the part. Let's do. Come on. Need more light. I was gonna say it was so much brighter last time, and then I remembered, yeah, it was like 3 hours earlier, and I wasn't in the godforsaken Northeast, where the sun goes down way too early because the East Coast time zone is really big. All right, so the outside we use a 6, which is this one. Wish me luck. All right. The dog's doing good. She is sleeping in the other room, thankfully. She's got enough of an attention span that she can entertain herself while I'm up here working. Sometimes she'll come in. Towards the end of my stream, she'll come in. If she does, I'll introduce you. But yeah, she's doing pretty good. She had some rocky few months, but let me see if I can turn this up. Not much. Maybe I'll just use my hand, because like trying to balance them on the tweezers sometimes makes it even worse. Alright. That looks good for now. Nope, missed the edge completely. So I'll do this. I'll crease it in the middle, just so that crease can rest on something. And now that it's creased, oh, God. If any of you guys have done this, you know the pain of these damn stickers. almost makes me say it would be worth it to just paint, because it's just the white, but I don't have the supplies to paint. There we go. Now we're gonna press all the edges down, get rid of all the air bubbles. And it's always important to go from the center out, because if like you go out and then you come back, you always run the risk of like catching the lip and then just pulling the whole decal off, and then you've completely ruined it. So it's like ironing, you just kind of push towards the edges. All right, so you guys can't even really see that well. Wow, again, it always looks kind of sloppy when it's like super blown up like that. Holy shit. So now comes, whoa, it just broke. Stuff's breaking off left and right here. Yeah, this is a pretty handy little clamp that I got. It is more awkward to use on stream than it is just like if you're building yourself, because like I said, because I'm working out like this. If it were like right here, it'd be a little easier, but it doesn't help you guys, because the whole point of doing it on here. But they are handy. I just got this very recently, because I used to, like, yes, it is. Like, I used to have to hold a part, and then hold the decal, and, like, get it lined up, and then, like, I try and get my thumb to hold it down, but in, like, doing so, you kind of, like, loosen your grip, or you move it a little bit, or something. I just got, like, so annoyed with it. And, less so for the decals, but more for the water slides, because I water slide everything in like smaller segments, because I don't want to have to like hold an entire leg, because like by the time I'm holding it to do like the upper leg, I'm rubbing off the decals for the lower leg and stuff. So with this clamp, I can just like clamp it on the foot, and I know the whole leg is secure, and I can turn the entire thing however I want to place the water slide on there and just let the whole thing dry. I mean, water slides take a lot longer, but that's more or less why I got this, to help with those. Less so for this. I'm just trying it out with these because for most of the time I don't care about foil stickers, but it's these sleeves scrolling, if you mess this up, the whole thing kind of looks horrible. So I'm like, I just want to make sure the edges all match up. So for this, I think I'm going to use my hand, only because I want to make sure I get a perfect angle of all the edges matching up. That went much easier than I thought it would. I still don't like it because like the decals are like glossy almost. Like the plastic is matte, but then like the decals are kind of shiny. But they're on there at the end of the day. This looks to be the most obnoxious part of this whole kit. Once we're through with this, there's no more color correction. There's no more tweezers and clamping until we actually water slide this whole thing. And I don't know if I'll be water sliding it on stream, just because that's tedious, and there's no like payoff to it. It's just watching me cut out water slides and hold them in the water for like 15 seconds and peel them off the backing, and like that's like the boring part of hobbies. At least with this, there's like, we started with a bunch of parts, and now we've got arms and legs. Water slides, it's like you started with a model kit, and now you have a model kit with small little warning labels all over it. Or whatever, like the Verka circles that you just put random circles down by all the knee joints to be like, danger. But who knows? Maybe there's a market for that. When I first started doing kits on stream, I would cut out all these parts ahead of time. I have little trays, and I'd sit in my spare time and cut the entire kit out, so that when I was streaming, it would just be like, dump out a bunch of parts and assemble, like dump them out and assemble, because I thought that would be more entertaining than like watching me hunt for parts on the runners and cut them off and clean them up and stuff. But like, I was surprised by how many people were like, oh, I'd watch you do the whole thing because there's so many like techniques and tools and everything else. And I was like, really? Like, I guess everybody's different, right? I probably wouldn't want to watch people do the tedious part of it, but a lot of people said they would. So here I am, giving it a shot. What is this? Oh. All right. So we got the arms done. Now we got to clean up some gross nub marks. Curved plastic is the worst part for them to put gates on. But they did. Oh, it actually cleans up all right. Okay. Whoa! Alright, didn't go off the desk. Didn't lose one to the carpet monster. It stayed on the desk. I'm stubborn. I refuse to lose like small parts to the carpet monster. Even like stuff that you'll never see, like on a lot of the beam rifles and stuff, they'll have like a green lens that you put over the camera or whatever. Sometimes I'll try and like hold it with tweezers and get it in there, and like I'll pinch it and it'll go, and I'm like, well, I don't need to find that. And I'm like, no, damn it, we're gonna find that. Like, that was part of the kit. Alright, so this goes like that. These go down here. And this fits down over it like that. This goes down here. God, I hate polycaps. So the reason I'm not doing the hands is because of the polycaps. Like, if we snap the hands on now, I'm going to have to pull the hands off later to put the weapons in the hands and snap the hands back on. And I try and pop ball joint polycaps in and out as few times as possible, because every time you pull it in or push it out, the plastic gets a little worse. Not markedly, but like polycraps, that's unintentional but a good description. They degrade over time, so the less wear and tear you can put on them, always the better call. I really appreciate how like the newer Master grades don't even use polycaps. They just use like ABS plastic to ABS plastic. The joints are so strong you can hold all sorts of crazy poses with them. Right. We got 2 arms done. And it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I think, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to get as much as I wanted to, but we'll still get a good chunk done. We got Red Bull. That'll give us the energy to power through. I always think it's funny how like they have you put the joint, like they have you put the elbow joints on so that they go in like this. I know eventually like you'll turn at the upper forearm, but it always like reminds me of some like little macho muscle building guy with like turned in forearms. Like they always look stupid like that. I always kind of turn them out a little bit more, but I am not even going to attach them for now because we will be water sliding this guy. And it's easier to do it in chunks rather than holding the whole kit. So we got the forearms. And yes, this is a high grade that we will be water sliding. The actual Neo Zeong itself is all water slides, and they were crazy enough to provide water slides for the Sinanju Stein inside of it as well. So we have not a lot, but I don't know, 50 or so that all get put on this guy, and most of them go on the rest of the kit, but it's pretty cool. All right, so the hands, like we said, we'll do later when we actually have weapons to hold with the hands. No sense to do them now. Let's jump in. We're going to start the feet. All right, let's clean up some of these tools here. Whoa. I'm not nearly as anal about keeping everything clean normally, but like I don't want to lose shit on stream or have stuff fall off my desk or whatever. So kind of resetting everything between steps, because also it declutters the workspace, and people ask about different tools and stuff, so it's easier when I only have like one thing on my desk rather than somebody being like, what's that? This? No, this? This? All right, we got feet. A, B, C, D, E. 23 and 24. Oh, those don't look like their feet parts. Look. Get off. And 18. Sometimes I'm crazy and I will panel line the bottom of the feet. We're not that crazy on this build. Like if I'm doing an aerial build where like, not Gundam aerial, but like an aerial pose where I think the kit might be the bottom of the feet exposed or something. It does look pretty bare sometimes, so I'll put some panel lining on there just to kind of fill in a little bit of shading, but This guy's going to be inside the mobile armor. I don't think the bottom of his feet are big. I mean, I'll leave him out to get some pictures, but he'll be in a standing pose at that point. All right, so we need B4. B4. See, really? Oh yeah, I guess so. Crap, it's this dark blue. I hate this dark blue. C18. The Justa Shexar team, the Sinanju Stein. Oh. Do they... They must. I was going to say, I don't even know if they make a high-grade Sinanju Stein. I mean, I'm building it right now. I just don't know if they sell it separately. But I can only imagine they must. I have seen the Sinanju Stein Master Grade Verka. And I hadn't seen Narrative at the time. So I just thought, like... Is that just like a color variant of the Sinanju or something? The Sinanju... Is it? Yeah, the Sinanju Real Grade... Not the Stein, just the regular one, was one of the worst kits I had ever built. I hated that thing so much. But that was early real grade syndrome. Those kits are so bad. What about the B-Packs? That one's a pretty cool kit. I think it's the B-Packs, where he's got like the long little finger grabby arm things. I only saw Narrative once, and it was maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I never knew what that thing was. Oh, was that Apex? Okay. I know most of them from, like, random video games and stuff. Just, I'm like, what is that thing? I always kind of confuse that kit with the Atlas Gundam, and I think it's just because they're like yellow and gray and black. Like the colors kind of blend in my mind. So what the hell are those? Are those feet parts? No, those aren't feet. Oh! Stick Bum, thank you for the follow. All right, let's check it out. Oh, okay. Yeah, they do. I mean, obviously they do. It's the kit that's on my tabletop. But, like I said, it's selling separately. I guess now that I see that cover box, it does make me think I might have seen that somewhere. Alright, so these are the feet. Feet are pretty simple. Although we got gross blue plastic that we're going to have to try. Although the plastic on the body actually cleaned up pretty well. I was surprised at how we were able to get the nub marks off of that. So hopefully we'll have the same luck. If we're not, I shouldn't be that upset because the feet will be hidden inside really all you see when this guy's inside the mobile armor is his torso and like his head. Basically everything that we built. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say. Like, I'll probably do like a quick little photo of him just to say, here he is, but otherwise he's getting tossed inside that armor. Altason, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping in. I looked quick at that little harrow, and it looked initially like Frog from Chrono Trigger, and I was like, it's kind of random, isn't it? And then I said, oh, wait. That is a harrow. That's not Frog. Oh man, hang on, let me check something real quick. Come on. Did you get a copy of that Assault Suits Valken from that limited run games production? I know you were digging that game when it had a Switch port came out. I was surprised to see that limited run had picked that to do a copy of. Oh no. Oh. Yeah, that was a little over. I was surprised at how much you get inside that. For I think it was maybe $80. You get the Super Nintendo game and like all kinds of goodies with it. But I picked up that that pre-order. I had never got anything through limited run games I don't know if that's true or not. I got something through like. I didn't buy it through limited run. It was through like Castlemania, so I don't know if it was the same company producing it, or I don't remember what the deal was. But I did that for Metal Storm when they came out with another batch of Metal Storm for NES games. So I picked that up, and I got it like a month later, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I assumed limited run games was like probably the same way. So when I pre-ordered that Assault Suit Valken, they sent me an email and they were like, oh, it's in production. And I thought, okay, cool. And then like a month went by. 7 weeks went by, and I'm like, you guys gonna have any shipping notice? And then I looked, and I think it was maybe yesterday I finally looked, and it said like estimated shipping date Q3 2024, and I was like, what? It's like almost a year out from when they actually, like, I made the pre-order, because I pre-ordered it not like first week of October, and you're telling me Q3 2024? I don't know if all their stuff's like that or what. I was just shocked at how far out the pre-order was. This blue is actually not stressing out. So I'm not stressing out over it. got to be the plastic type. I'm always terrified that I'm gonna cut myself with these God hands. I haven't yet, but like I can just imagine, like if I ever got a little bit of skin in there, that would cut so friggin' clean, cut right through the meat of my finger. Like anytime I feel a little bit of resistance, I back off because I'm like, I could just squeeze and power all the way through. What if my finger's in there? Watch me cut half my finger off live on stream. Oh, where'd that go? Where'd that one go? There it is. All right, all trimmed up. Now we gotta clean. Perhaps sand. And then detail and build. And once again, this plastic cleans up so nice. I'm shocked. For a blue, for a dark blue. I have had some horror stories trying to clean up blue plastic before. Most notably the chest pieces in the RX-78 3.0. You get some nasty stress snarls all in like the armpit area because they, I mean, granted, if you put the arms down, they kind of cover it, but you still don't want gross stress marks on it. Especially in the feet too, because the feet are always red and they always attach the tips of the toes right to the so you cut and then the tips of the toes always have a white gate mark. So let's zoom in a little bit just to show you what we're trying to clean up. Oh God. I don't know why it always like snaps a picture like that and then zooms all the way out and then I gotta sneak back in, but whatever. So that gross white mark on the end is what we're trying to get off because that will be a little visible. So I got my glass file. I'll sand it all down. We'll balance out what I scratched up with the surrounding plastic. Then we'll buff it all out and see how it looks. Look at that. There used to be a white mark right there. Now there ain't. Now those are the only ones I'm worried about because they come together like that. One of these times I was feeling forgetful. Well, on this stream I've moved my mic up so I can see chat, but one time I had the mic right in front of me. And I totally forgot that I'm working on this shit on stream. And I like blew the dust off of a part.
with like a few hard exhales, and I was blowing right into the microphone, and people were just like, "You just blew our eardrums out." I'm like, "Oh shit, sorry." Whoops. So I'm remembering to at least turn my head if I'm doing that. All right. What do we got? What do we got on these? Are they clean? Clean enough? Clean enough. Clean enough for feet parts. For a high grade. God, this is so lazy. So lazy of me. But high grade feet we're never going to see. Indri. Hello. Thanks for stopping in. There's so many dumb little things I'm trying to remember. Like I just said, the microphone. The camera kind of wobbles too. So if I have my arms down when I'm really sanding, I'm like shaking the whole camera around. I'm like, no, don't do that. Lift my hands up. Don't make people seasick. All right. So these are as good as they need to be for feet that we're not going to see. Pop in the polycap. These are surprisingly inarticulate feet as well. Usually there's like some sort of like flex to them more than just like an ankle joint, because that's all this really is. Sometimes there's like a toe joint at the end of the ankle. This just looks like a straight up ankle joint, and that's all you get. All right. So the bulk of the foot is done. Gonna slap on the sole. What goes on next? Front toe part armor, and then the back. So this just kind of slide. Oh, gross. Gross. There's a gross nub mark. Embarrassing that I didn't see that. So that just kind of slides on, huh? Does it get anything? No, it doesn't. Okay. High grades. They certainly are simplistic sometimes. Not in a bad way. I mean, I just think it's funny that they're called high grades. Like if I was new to the hobby, I'd be like, "Oh, that's a high grade." I don't know if I know how to do that yet. Don't you have a starter? I guess they do now have starter kits, right? Little, even like entry grade they call them. Not even high grade, but all right. This is like surprisingly basic. I'm kind of shocked. Maybe that's... There might be some fancier, like, shin armor that covers that up, which is probably why this is so simplistic underneath. Foot. Feet. Complete. Homeless Meat Dog. Now there is a name. Thank you so much for the follow. Is that like Meat Wad? That's what I think of. I think of Meat Wad doing his hot dog shape when I think of Meat Dog. Hot dog, igloo. And then he had like a third shape that was like Samurai Lincoln or something. Glizzy. Meat Glizzy. Alright, so we got feet. I was hoping we could get a little more done. Because honestly, like, that's all we've done in like an hour and a half. It feels like it should be more than that, but that's how it be sometimes, you know. So we got like... Alright, so the upper leg from like the hip to the knee is the same on both. And then each leg from the knee down is unique. I see. Let's at least get the upper legs done. Because they're, again, 2 pairs. Can go pretty quick with that. And the good thing is with my mildly updated stream schedule, I won't wait till Thursday to continue this because we're going to be back at it tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday instead of Tuesday, Thursday. What do we got? 17. What's this piece? Ooh. Right. I mean, 27 and 16. That is odd. Usually it's like 27 and 26 or 28, not 10 part numbers off. But what do I know? I just come up with part numbering conventions for a living. Although I argue with people because some people come up with terrible part numbering conventions and I'm like, this is foolish and you're going to piss a lot of people off. And I'm not going to allow you to do this. But we're not here to talk about real work, are we? So we need more polycaps. B8. PC8. Any of you guys ever bother to play that Gundam Evolution game that came out like a year ago that they're like already sunsetting? I was mildly annoyed to find that they're getting rid of that game already. I mean, I'm not one for team shooters all the time, but like... kind of fun. And then it was around for like 10 months before they were like, hey, we're going to get rid of this. But we're still going to have seasons, still play our game, spend money on it. B5. Honestly, what kind of pissed me off about that game was I played the hell out of it in the beta, and it was cool. But once the game came out, like nobody like I think in the beta, because there were like challenges to work for, like they gave you more stuff if you got to like level 20, so people wanted to keep playing because they had, oh, I have 8 days to hit level 20. When the game actually came out, it was like what, 6v6, and I'd start a game, it would just be 6v6, and then like 3 people would quit. Like one guy would quit, and then 2 guys on my team would be like, "Oh, it's already 6v5, so we're gonna lose," and then they'd lose, or they'd quit out, and then the game would pause. It would be like 6v3, pausing, game has been discontinued, and I'm like, I couldn't get a game going for more than like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, were they modding it? So I wasn't into it like after it launched. And there were, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to complain and say that Barbatos was not balanced. Through the entire life, like the entire beta, everybody that I talked with all had the same feedback, and they're like, yeah, they need to nerf Barbatos. And the only people providing like contrary viewpoints to that were just people who were like, I'm a main, and there's like one way to counter him, so he's fine. And I'm just like, well, no, you can't have a. There should be more than like one way to counter somebody in the whole game, and then otherwise he just completely one shots you. And that was like something they never addressed, and it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like I'm like, fix the game. What's with these weird balancing issues? And then they just decided. Bandai kind of does that a lot. They did that with Gundam Breaker Mobile, like the mobile game. I don't know if they just decided. They do not. No, they play like a fast first-person shooter. Yeah, right. That's one thing I will say. Yeah, Hawken was not a mech game. Hawken was just a shooter with a mech skin. That's one thing that I will give Battle Operation 2 or whatever. It feels like a mech game. There's like ebb and flow to it, but there's like cooldown, there's repercussions for things. You're slow, you can't, like, you have to, I don't know. It feels like a slower paced. It's not a twitchy like, oh, 360 no scope game. And I really do appreciate that. However, it feels very clunky. Like, not bad clunky. It feels like I could get used to it if I put more time and effort into learning it. But with so many suits having so many different like the weapon schemes almost. Like if I played a Zaku, I would have, you know, my heat tomahawk, and then I'd have my gun, and then maybe I'd have something else. And like you cycle the weapons, and I get it, and that makes sense. But then like if I switch from the Zaku to like the EXS Gundam, it's like I've got the giant beam rifle, and then like the wire weapons, and then missiles, and then I've got a Vulcan, and then a beams, and it's just like a totally different rotation. It's not just like, okay, I'm using my melee weapon, I know I can switch to my long range weapon if I just do a quick double tap to like change out to long range. Yeah, it's just every suit has a learning curve attributed to it. And not that that's a bad thing. It just like it prohibits me from like wanting to sit down and just like play a game, because it feels like I have to like keep like relearning, okay, what am I doing in this game? Or and the UI is kind of shitty too. Like I didn't like how it's like you have to ready a suit for space combat and ready a suit for ground combat, and like, not that that's a reason to not play the game, but it just feels like there's, I don't know, it feels not streamlined. I don't know. I don't know. It's, so I guess one way I could describe it, um, for whatever reason, I've been playing through the Far Cry series, and like I think the first one I ever played was 2, but I never played it. I bought it and never played it. But I think the first one I actually really played was like 4, and I really enjoyed it. And I played a lot of the later ones, and I said, well, let me go back and play them all. And I played the first Far Cry game, and you can tell that is a game. So, like, it's a game that was based on the Cry engine. It was essentially like a tech demo. The people who made the game were not game designers. They were like computer science majors who knew how to code, and they wrote a game engine. And then they were just like, all right, well, now that we made this game engine, let's make a tech demo to like just show off the engine we made. And like so much of like game design that like somebody who's designing a game would think we should do this, we shouldn't do that, is not present in it, because the people who made it were not game designers. And like it really feels like that. That's kind of how, to me, Battle Operation feels. It feels like, yeah, you got a cool thing, but like the UI sucks so much fun out of it, because it's like the UI is confusing. There's too many different menus. The suits aren't like standardized with the weapon rotations, and I understand that's kind of like a growing pains type thing that you can learn, but like it just doesn't feel intuitive. And once something doesn't feel intuitive, it doesn't feel like it's fun. And then I'm like, well, why do I want to do it? I did try the what is it, Code Fairy, the like single player Gundam battle operation thing where you play as like the female Zeong squad. That was okay because it was slower paced, because you were playing at the pace of the game rather than like a PvP pace where people are always shooting at you and you don't have time to like think and learn. And it was a little slower and it was cool. I didn't play enough of it to like really get a feel for how it would continue, but what is this? Yeah, Far Cry 2. I just started playing Far Cry 2, and it's definitely, game-wise, like ahead of its time. There was a lot there that I didn't fully appreciate back then. But like, other than that, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of jank in this game. What also doesn't help is that the game is not optimized for Windows 11, and like Windows 11 got rid of compatibility mode, so I can't even like try and play it for Vista, which all the guides are like, hey, just set compatibility to Windows Vista. So like NPCs bounce around, and like while you're in a conversation with them, they're like bouncing around the room, and they get too far away from you, so like they break the conversation, and I'm like, this sucks. But all right. So, our first stream we cleared from there to there. This whole page. Now this whole stream we cleared this. So one stream per page. Now that's really not going to be the case, because once we get to the actual kit itself, like these parts are massive. This probably take 10 minutes to do this whole page, because it's like, yeah, 3 parts, but we're doing the little guy first, and then we'll work our way to the big guy. Yeah, anything from like 2004 to like 2014, that whole like 10-year window, I was like, well, maybe not full 10 years, maybe 8 or 9 years. I was like into World of Warcraft. So like, new game would come out and I'd be like, I gotta go get that game. It looks awesome. And I'd buy it. And then I'd go home and I'd play it for maybe half an hour. And then my friend would be like, hey, I just got home. You want to play World of Warcraft? And I'd be like, yup. And then I would stop playing whatever brand new game I just got. And I would play World of Warcraft. And I'd like never go back to it. So I'd like play it for an hour and then like never touch it again. And that was Far Cry 2. I bought it and just never played it. Let's see. Let me check something here. All right. So it was Magpie and 3 Fat Cooks. I know you guys were talking about all the high grades that you built. Yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was Saturday. I said this tool was one of the best tools I ever purchased that saves me sanity. It's a part separator. And I said the reason that I bought it, or that I like it so much, is not so much for the flat edge that helps you separate parts. It's this little nub right here. And I said, I'll get to that later. And we finally are getting around to why I like... Oh. No, I was just remembering that you and Cooks were talking about high grades that you guys build. Yeah, so this part, I was getting around to saying, I know on Saturday, at one point I said, this is such a handy tool. And I didn't really explain why I thought this was so handy. So it's made of the same plastic. I mean, it's even softer plastic than this. So like, you're not going to scratch the parts up when you try and like pry stuff apart. But you want to see the biggest high grade hack with this thing ever? The diameter of this peg on the end is the exact same diameter of these shitty polycaps that they use for almost every single high grade. And I know you and Cooks were saying that you like to build lots of high grades. So with this hole being the exact same diameter, you just pop it in there. And now you've got that part on a peg. So when you're like, oh, I got to get this polycap in that hole, rather than like putting it in and it turns a little bit or anything else, I just pop it right in and it's right in the hole, and then you pull it out and it's like perfectly in there. That has saved me so much time, because like if you're trying to do it by hand, it's so tiny that you're covering up 90% of it just to pinch it, and then you got to like try and get it in there, and you can't, and you're like, oh, it's not lined up. And sometimes if you think it's lined up and you push a poly cap, you like scrunch the corner, so then it mushrooms, and then you got to like trim it down. The second I realized that diameter is the same and it's a snug fit, and you can just go, got it in there. Oh man, it saved me so much time and like sanity, just being like, how am I gonna get that in there? Yeah, so like these polycap edges, if you're not like perfectly lined up with that hole when you push, you'll like mushroom the end, or like you'll flatten one side down and they'll widen out because you pressed, and you'll never get it in there. So I've had to like take my hobby knife and like shave corners down to make it almost like tapered so it'll go into the hole, because I pushed, but just having a little handle, I can go, got it right where I want, gently push, take it out. It was like $4. Best $4 I ever paid for something like that. All right, we got one knee. Not even a knee, that's like a upper thigh. Go in there. Closed up. And we got some scuffing. Oh, all right. I'll check that just a sec. What the hell are we doing here? What? That ain't right. Is it upside down? Ah, that might be why. No, it's because there's a part that I didn't cut out yet. Haha! I am so smart. Oh, you guys are UK? Oh, yeah, that would do the trick, huh? Although it looks like it could fall off the edge. Yeah, see, I was just thinking, if you guys are in the UK, it's got to be late for you, but... Yeah, thanks. I'll probably be on, another half hour, so you didn't miss too much. Yeah, well, definitely, don't lose sleep on my part. Not that you were, but... I'll probably be on another half hour or so, so I'll just finish up a few more parts here. Anything you miss, I know this saves VODs for like a week, but it's just, finishing up a knee joint or whatever. Otherwise, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be on 5:30 my time, so I think, I don't, do you guys do daylight saving time, or did you just change your clocks back? That's like 10:30 your time? I don't know. I don't know if only the states do it, because I think somebody else said somebody in England did it as well. Yeah, I thought England did it. Or I don't know if England, UK, something like that. The guy I was talking to was in England, but I didn't know how far it went. Canada? All right. But yeah, same time. So for me, it's 5 hour difference. So I'll be on 10:30 your time, which is late. But Saturdays, I'm on a little earlier. But thanks for stopping in, you guys. Hope you have a good night. Yeah, there's a lot of talk where, because I live in the Northeast, and the Eastern time zone is so long, and I'm in the like extreme east end of it. I'm in New England, and there's a lot of talk that we want to all like sign a bill that the 6 New England states would go to like the Atlantic time, so I would be only 4 hours apart from you guys if that was the case, because it gets crazy. Like it gets dark very early, like in the winter here, because the Eastern time zone is so wide. Like the sun will be down by like 3:45 in the afternoon for me. Like even if I go home at 4 o'clock, I'm driving home in the dark. I'm just like, this is kind of excessive. Oh, okay. Yes, in the States, everybody. I know you guys said you were leaving soon, and here I am yammering on, but I'll make it quick. Everybody, it's like a rumor that everybody said, "Oh, it was for the farmers. They changed it for the farmers so they get more daylight." And the farmers are all like, "No, it has nothing to do with us because like we have to do things on set times." Um, they did it for us in World War II because of the or pre-World War II, the Great Depression. People didn't have money, like they couldn't pay their electric bill and stuff, so they changed the clocks to make it so that the sun would stay out longer, so that people didn't need to run their electric bill up to like save them money. But it's kind of like, yeah, we've moved past that. Why do we still do it? Yeah, it's just yeah, so people could use the sunlight rather than yeah, oh yeah. So we have passed a bill to get rid of it. Like the United States would just stop doing it. However, as I'm sure you're aware, we're really, really politically stupid over here. So even though half the people agree with it, the other half are like, well, you came up with it, so we're going to say no. So it's just like all tied up in politics, and half the people have voted to get rid of it, but then the other people don't want to have the vote. So it's just like, ugh. But there's a chance it'll all go away one day. And then our clocks will just stay whatever time it is. And we won't have to. No. You guys definitely have some stuff going on over there, too. I see some of that, and I just shake my head, and I'm like, well, at least we're not totally alone in being nuts. But we still have our share of embarrassments. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping in. I will shut up and let you continue on with your evening. Thank you. I'll be back at it tomorrow. Whoa, all right. All right, legs, upper legs. So this was the only part that's really symmetrical between the legs. It's kind of just the knee joint. And I assume it's probably because everything that attaches here and goes down has like outside stuff, like thrusters, and the inside is smooth. So like it's probably the exact same build. It's just that like the inside pieces mirror each other and then the outside pieces. But they broke it down into two different steps. So whatever. 20 minutes left. I don't have enough time to tackle all of that, but we probably have enough time to knock the waist section out. So let's get that out of the way. Oh gosh, so many polycaps. 1 and 2 twos. 1. 2 twos. Is that it? That is it. D? D? D, really? 1760. All right. It's weird that we have 2 of those. is it telling me to cut that? I don't want to cut that. I don't ever trust cutting the front flaps. Like, ever. I don't think I'm going to, unless I really think it's necessary. They want me to cut the ball joint between these two, and, like, that helps for posing, but that is not necessary, and I am not going to do it unless I feel it's necessary. So that for later. So we've got A7 and A8. Where's that? A7 and 8. That's weird. Why couldn't they have molded that the same color? Or the same part, since it is the same color, I guess. A 13. And these. A12. And that's it as far as the A parts go. So we need G2C. Where's that go? That goes here. I like the two-tone gray, like the dark gray and the light gray. That looks good next to each other. We do have a decal. Nope, no E. We need two parts. E. E what? Oh, it's just one part. E3. 3? Oh, E1 3. I'm looking at E2 3. I'm like, where the hell is I seeing a 3? Just to cover that butt flap gap. All right. That is not a lot of parts. It looks more because there's like a crazy... Oh, no, there isn't. Another part missing. I was gonna say, there's something missing. That's what was missing. What was I just going to do? Oh. There we go. There we go. Altison, you're usually a mech game encyclopedia. Have you ever played the PlayStation 2 game Ring of Red? I bought that game, I think when it first came out. And I don't know how I felt about it at the time. It was interesting. It was like a turn-based strategy RPG, kind of like Front Mission, but you had like manual aiming. Not manual aiming, manual shooting. It's very weird. I mean, if you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. I just don't know if you have or not. Um, I didn't really like it at the time, and I think I traded it in when I was. I don't know, that was back when like I was working part time, like my first job, part time, making like $6 an hour, so like $115 a week or whatever. So a lot of times I was like, I'm broke. I want a new game. I got to trade in some old ones. I think I traded it in relatively soon and like didn't give it enough of a chance to really like sink in. And I always thought like I want to go back and give that game a try. So I was always like on the lookout for it when I'd go to like game conventions and stuff. But I don't know if it didn't sell well or it wasn't popular because it's Mecca and I'm in the West, so it's not really popular. It might have just like not sold very well. So there's not a lot of copies because there's not a lot of copies in distribution. But I ended up buying a copy of it on eBay just because I was like, I want to give it like a fair shot now that I know what it is. There was a lot of games like that, like Zone of the Enders. I literally bought that. Me and probably 90% of the people who bought it. I bought it because it was a Metal Gear Solid 2 demo that came with a free game. And like I played it and I was like, yeah, whatever. I want to play Metal Gear. And I never gave the game a fair shake. Just because I don't know, wasn't into it. That's one that I want to go back and like actually play. See if I can appreciate it rather than just be like mad that the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo was a complete bait and switch. Because that's still the feelings I have about Metal Gear Solid 2. But I figured if anybody had played Ring of Red, you might have. Ugh. Nope. God, what an awful gate. That is like a quarter of an inch long. What a mess. Why would you do that? You gotta sand the hell out of that one. Ugh. But this gray plastic, I don't know. There's definitely different types of plastic, and this gray plastic seems really easy to work with, so I should be able to clean it up okay, but it's just like... There was a time when Bandai didn't give a shit about like what they were doing with their gates locations. Like the more recent kits, even on high grades, they've had smarter gate locations and they put stuff where it won't be visible. But like some of these old kits, they put these big gnarly gates like right on the side, and you're like, that's gonna take like 10 minutes of sanding to get rid of. Like, why would you put that there? Or why does it have to be 3/8 of an inch wide when it can just be like a little thing? Well, what do I know, right? Not much. Sorry, my Discord was blowing up, but I'm in streamer mode, so it like muted it, and I just saw that I had like a bunch of notifications. But it is my friend's 8-year-old who messages me on Discord because he wants to know, he's into computer games, and he wants to know if Santa can make him all sorts of stuff, like an LED mouse pad. He's like, does Santa know how to make a mouse pad? I'm like, he knows how to make a mouse pad. It's like, okay, cool. Straighten that out. Thankfully, this is going to be another piece that's super covered up. Oh, come on. This is where the polycaps mushroom if you just put... See? Oh, that was such a huge save. Because otherwise, if I couldn't like get that in there to adjust the polycap, I would have just pushed and it would have mushroomed. And I would have had to trim the whole polycap. Tool saved me again. Okay, so this is visible. So I gotta clean up the nub marks. One there, one there. And I'm gonna panel line it, because front skirts are prominently visible. Even though this one might not be. I think there's water slides on this one too. Ooh, there's a nasty gate mark too. I'm surprised at how much this gray plastic marks up, because gray, being a light color, normally doesn't stress out, but this one is. As I'm doing this entire thing off camera, right? That has a nasty mark on it. Only one side though. Weird. There we go. We just buffed out that really, really large, like 3/4 inch gate mark. Not 3/4 inch, 3/8 inch gate mark. 3/4 inch would be ridiculous. I couldn't cut that with nippers if I had to. All right. So let's try gray. Dark gray on light gray. We're going to hit I'm going to hit these little pockets there and there, and then I think I want to trace around this piece to give some definition of that. So, let's get it in there. Oop. trace that pocket and we'll fall out twice. That's pretty bad. Give some definition to that edge. Same thing here. Not going to push as hard. There we go. We stayed inside the pocket. Trace. Oh, and then I fell out of that edge. And with this, we're just going to trace. It seemed to make that front piece stand out a little bit more. Down, down, and down. Now that looks like a mess, because it is a mess. And now we use our secret weapon, which is nothing more than Q-tip, cotton bud, whatever you call it, on some mostly still yet to be dried ink. Just lightly go over it, and we take off all the scribbles that are on the surface where we screwed up. But we don't press hard enough. What is going on? We don't press hard enough that we take out anything subsurface. So we leave the shading in the pocket. I may add a little bit more because I feel like I took too much out. Now with panel lining, there's definitely an art to like putting it in there and then buffing it out. Because if you go like I put some right in here, and if I start pushing this way, I'm just erasing it. So you want to go like, you always want to go like against the grain, because you'll take a lot less of the ink out when you do that. If you go with the grain, you'll get in there and you'll just erase all the ink that you just put down. So this doesn't pop very much, but it's probably because it's gray on gray. If I did black, it would probably pop a little more, but I don't think I want that too. I think I like the subtlety of gray on gray. Normally I do gray on white, but this is such a light gray that... See, that line there looks good. It makes this line here look almost like weak by comparison. So I'll run a line up that way. And pull one down that way. And like I said, if I just start going left to right, I'm going to rub out everything that I just put in there. So we're going to go up and down. Erase most of it, but just leave the shading. And there's a lot of things you can use rather than a cotton bod, depending on the shape. So with this, because there's a definite lip that I'm trying to hit, I'll use this because I can go back and forth. But if it's like a smooth surface where there's just an indentation right into the plastic, sometimes if you push too hard with this, you'll like scoop it out even if it's not intentionally. And in that case, I'll just use like a white eraser, because this won't get into the groove. It'll only do the surface, so you can go over it depending on if it's like a lip or a channel. I'll generally use this for a channel, and I'll generally use this for a lip. Just different ways of trying to get a result that looks nice at the end of it. So they want me to cut that apart, and I don't really want to. How do these fit in? Does that fit right? Yeah, that fits right. Ooh, this is going to be good. This will be a good contrast. So I used gray. In these little pits just for some shading. And now I'm going to use black through these little thruster areas. So the gray next to the black will really make the black look richer than had I just done black all over, or had I done gray all over. These I'm just going to color in inside the vents. And same thing, the Q-tip. We're just going to go lightly, because this is more of a pocket. Generally, I clean something like that up with an eraser, because it's valley, or it's a channel rather than a lip. But in this case, the Q-tip also kind of helps to fade it out a little bit, like kind of spreads it around. I don't know if that makes any sense. It blends better, I guess, would be what I'm trying to get at. So now, because I did this with the gray and that with the black, there's definitely two different color tones there. Had I done it all gray or all black, I think it would have been too dark. I like how there's like certain spots of dark where it looks like there should be something, and then where it just looks like shading, it's a little bit lighter. So we take this, that goes on the, the front? Yes. Which one's the front? Which one is the front? It's not symmetrical. What the hell? I don't want to separate them. I don't want to. You keep telling me to. I don't believe we need to. So you know what? We're not going to unless we actually have to. Because once you cut that, there's no going back. You cut it. Alright, so I'm going to get a little in this pocket of black. A little in this. Oop, shit. Fell out of the pocket of black. It's alright though. The mistakes get erased. Even if we have to use the actual eraser. There we go. That cleaned up nice. And of course I did it off camera because my frickin' mouse pad's moved. There we go. So this pops flush in there. And push it down. This slides right on the end, I think. Yeah, right on the end. And there's a decal, which is almost the last decal this whole thing. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And this is one of them. So after this, we'll have 3 more. And this is where I use my little spudger rather than like pushing with the tweezers and tearing the paper or anything. This I can use the hard Q-tip to kind of push the sticker down into the corners there and flatten it out, make sure it's laying down and there's no edges or anything else. Looks good to me. That edge does not look good to me. That looks like shit. Even though no one's going to see it. I can see it. I know it's there. So I'm going to fit that there. This sandwiches right into there. So this is what they told me to cut because it's one piece. So if I move this front flap, this one doesn't move. Like I get realistically, like if I were to lift up just the right leg, you'd want this one to be down and like one to be down and one to be up. But I don't care because I'm not going to independently move the legs. And if you cut, it's so much harder to put those together if they're separated. Not to get them, put them together, but like it's like you get one side in and then you try and get the other side in and one side falls out. And then you hold that one and you get the other one in and you need like a third hand. And it's just, in my experience, it's more frustrating than it's actually worth the time to cut them. Hey. That goes up, that goes in. So now the butt flaps. See, they don't tell you to cut the butt flap even though it's the exact same joint design. So why do they tell me to cut the front flaps? Probably, like I said, probably just for posing of the legs or whatever. But don't tell me what to do. There we go. I knew it didn't feel symmetrical. So now this covers that, but we are going to, once again, panel line shading.
These pits, these thruster pits, we're going to go with black to make them look darker.
Let's zoom back in on that. And then, yes, we got the thruster pits in black, and then we're going to do all the edge work with a gray to make it look like shading.
There's more detail on the butt flap than there is the front flap. How about that? It's kind of odd. I will say though, the butt flaps are usually bigger, so maybe they just figured, oh shit, maybe they just figured like there's more real estate to get fancier with.
And now we clean it up. And I don't know how much the camera picks up when I do this, but aesthetically, it's not just the cleaning up that looks nice, but it's like the blending and the actual shading, because when I use the Q-tip, when I just put the ink on there, it's just pours out. And when I use the Q-tip, it really blends it in and kind of makes it look more like shading than just... Yes, I got the light right on it, kind of... washes some of it out, but looks better. Then we pop this on here. Come on. Now we need the light back again. This goes on here. We swing it down. This goes right in. And we close that up. All right. So now the butt flap, front skirt, back skirt, all set. There's the waist section. Now, just for the hell of it, I'm going to wrap up pretty soon, but just for comparison. So there's the butt flap of the Sinanju Stein. So the butt flap goes, it covers the hips, hook on here. This more or less protects like the hip joint. So it's kind of like your lower back. This is the size of the butt flap for the kit inside. This is the size of the butt flap for the Neo Zeong itself. So that shows you just the scale of the little guy inside versus the gigantic ass mobile armor that he rides inside. So yeah, this piece is this piece on the big guy. Really, really big guy. So this is the exciting part. This is just building up the high grade. We got to do it because it's the core of this kit. Once we get this done, I believe tomorrow we should be able to knock out the rest of the legs in the backpack, and the Sinanju Stein will be done. I will probably water slide this on my own. We won't be doing that, which means... Sir, what? Which means come Saturday, we're actually going to start the Neo Zeong itself. So, while I might not argue with you that Porsche engineers knew what they were doing, I will argue with you in the sense of you are a spam bot. Like, normally I see spam bot things that are like, hey, check out my ways of making your stream better, right? Who's going to be like, hey, want to go buy a Porsche? Like, what the fuck? Learn your audience here a little bit, right? So here's what we all knocked out today. This is what we did on Saturday in 3 hours. Because a lot of it was kind of setting up. And there's more detail and more stickers to the chest and head. A lot of smaller parts. We got this done last time. Today, had a good run. We got the arms, we got the upper legs, we got the feet, and we got the waist done. As I said before, I leave all this stuff apart because I am going to be water sliding all of this. And I'll usually do like this much, and then the waist alone, legs alone, arms alone, backpack alone, water slide, let them dry, top coat them, then apply everything all together. Won't be doing that on stream, but so I don't want to like put it all together just to pull it all apart. So we're going to leave it like this for now, but we're getting there. All we have left is we've got the sections from the knee down to the ankle for the legs. They're a little intricate, but not, not mind-blowing. Then the backpack. The Sinanju does have a kind of detailed up backpack because he's got the big fins and he's got the thruster tanks and everything else, but I don't know how much of that is going to ride inside of this because I think you take the backpack off before you put him in the mobile armor. I'm not sure. But we'll get that done just for a picture at the end. But made some good progress today. Tomorrow, it's going to be 5:30 to 8 again, East Coast time. Same as today. I believe we'll probably finish this guy up tomorrow. And then Saturday, we will be working on the actual Neo Zeong itself, which is kind of the whole thing I was getting hyped for. I just didn't want to jump right into it, but we're getting there. Wild kit. Worth the money, though, I think. It's going to be a nice, like, centerpiece. Actually, let me go to this real quick. So, looking at like a build guide, I saw this for the Dendrobium, and I kind of liked it. Too much light. Ugh, no, not enough light. God, what the fuck is going on? There we go. Get out of there. So there's the little guy inside the mobile armor, kind of half poking out. He's got a bazooka in each hand, which is kind of excessive because this thing has ridiculous firepower on its own. So now he's like, screw it, let's go double bazooka. But as you can kind of see from either this one, it's like waist up, and he's got the double beam. I feel like the beam glaive is kind of pointless because, like, who's getting that close to you that you're going to hit him with a glaive, right? What the hell? So I kind of like this pose here. But from either of these poses, we see waist and up. So that's kind of why I'm like, man, like, yeah, the legs would be important if he was like freestanding. But as you can see, he's going to be buttoned up inside this thing. It is no Stamen, you're correct. So I may, yeah, and this is what I was saying before. The inside legs are like smooth. The outside have like a little thruster unit on them. That's why they didn't do them. Hey, and they kind of did the same thing with the black thrusters and the jets, just like I did. How about that? So I may not focus super much on detailing all this crap, but we'll get it done. I think that's kind of the pose I'm going to go. I don't know about, maybe we'll give him the 2 bazookas. That looks pretty iconic. Yeah, the Dendrobium has that huge thing on the starboard lower side, like that claw with like the beam. What is it, like a, is it like a beam blade or a bayonet or something? It's been a while since I looked at that one. I don't exactly know what that has. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap things up for now, but that was fun. We made a lot of progress today, more than I thought we would, but still somehow not as far as I thought along as we would be. I don't know. There's some of the talking and the chatting that slows things down a little bit, and the making sure it's on camera. But it's not about speed, right? It's about having a good product at the end of the day. So I will be back tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern. We'll be finishing this guy up, and we'll be on our way. So thank you guys for hanging out, chatting, lurking, following, anything you might have done. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Take care till then. Thanks.